credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
And a very good evening to you. I'm Lisa Lord with the Tuesday, January 12th edition of the CBC Evening News and our top story. Cabinet has approved the long-awaited amendments to the Domestic Violence Act, and that's according to Transport Minister Michael Lashley, who says it was done when Cabinet met last Thursday. He told the Democratic Labour Party St. Michael East Branch meeting over the weekend that one of the major changes identifies the types of relationship under which people can get that protection. Mr. Lashley says government recognizes that domestic violence is one of those challenges that, if not dealt with properly, will have a serious impact on the society.
As it stands, if a man visit a so-called friend during the day or night, and he perpetrates some act of violence on that person, whether it be, well, let me say person, then he cannot make an application on the Domestic Violence Act, because the Domestic Violence Act, as it stands, recognizes spouse, former spouse, or member of the household.
Meantime, President of the SAVE Foundation, Lascelle Daisley, tells CBC it's a relief that the amendments have been approved.
It's long in coming, long overdue, as we know. I'm just very excited, very happy that it's been amended, and I'm sure that it would make a difference going forward in terms of women being protected and families being protected and children being protected. We'll also see perpetrators of domestic violence being treated more seriously and that they feel the full weight of the law.
Well, the Barbados Workers Union says it's keen to contribute to an improvement in efficiency at the Barbados Water Authority, but so far it has not received any response from management on a wide range of recommendations, and this is according to General Secretary Tony Moore.
When I speak of concessions, I speak of efforts to move towards a 24/7 kind of work arrangement so that workers at the Water Authority who now receive overtime for excess hours that they have to work, that situation can be minimized, because if you go into a 3-shift system over 24/7, it means that you have a shift in place that you can be paying at basic rate as opposed to overtime. Efforts to make Sundays a regular day.
Ms. Moore says the union remains committed to helping the authority thrive in the interest of the workers and Barbadians in general.
All of these were initiatives that came from the workers, but I think that the board and management will have to address to the public why these issues up to now have not been considered, even when at the level of the Prime Minister, the Minister of Agriculture, and in other critical areas, everybody felt and applauded the workers' initiative as one that was in the interest of the authority and therefore in the interest of the country. Well,
the road to Paris Hill near Andrews Factory will be temporarily closed for 3 weeks, and this is due to a mains laying project conducted by the Barbados Water Authority. Starting tomorrow, the road will be closed from 7:30 in the morning until 5 in the evening every day. At the northern boundary of Andrews Factory, residents of Paris Hill will have access through the development road. Motorists approaching Paris Hill from Horse Hill and Blackmans are asked to follow the detour signs that are placed along the route, and motorists are also asked to follow the direction of personnel on site. Coming up after the break, we'll have more news. Stay with us.
As we count down to the golden anniversary of independence, CBC salutes Barbadian excellence, our achievements that make Barbados proud, the moments when Barbados wrote its name on history's page, the father of independence, a national hero, the Right Excellent Arrow Walton Barrow, our athletes who medaled at the Olympics, the crowning glory of the award-winning Banks Bear, another national hero, Sir Garfield Sobers, the gold at the Chelsea Flower Show, and our superstar, Rihanna.
Shine bright like a diamond.
CBC, celebrating our golden treasure.
Shine bright like a diamond.
We always knew it, and December's systematic survey confirms it. The majority of Barbadians are watching CBC TV8 between 7 and 10 p.m. That's a prime-time audience that spans all socio-economic groups. So when you really want to reach an audience, then there's no better option than CBC. CBC TV8, your nighttime market leader.
Students in Barbados are being prepared to make the most of free movement within the region. The message came from Senator Harcourt Husbands, and he was speaking during the opening ceremony of the National Career Showcase put on by the Barbados Association of Guidance Counselors. Senator Husbands says the Ministry of Education is tasked with preparing the students for jobs which are not yet created.
I don't like to speak to young people and just give them the gloom and doom. Several things are occurring. This idea, and we have poo-pooed it and so on throughout the Caribbean, of free movement. So we are preparing you for jobs not yet created, but jobs that may be created not in Barbados, but in Dominica. Not in Barbados, but in Guyana.
And Vice President of the Barbados Association of Guidance Counselors, Saul Leacock, says the career showcase will be crucial since we spend 1/3 of our lives working and therefore need to choose the right career.
It is important that you choose, that children early crystallize in their minds just what they plan to do for the future. This career showcase 2016 is designed to address that specific purpose, to help students at an early age, 3rd years, so that they can help in the correct subject choices to facilitate the career of their choice, and also in the development of that mindset.
Well, the rate of unemployment for July to September 2015 stood at 11.3%, with the unemployment rate among males being 12.8% and 9.7% among females. And this is according to statistics derived from the Barbados Statistical Service's Continuous Household Labor Force Survey. In the review period, the number of persons employed totaled 128,400, while the total number of unemployed persons stood at around 16,300. In total, the number of persons in the labor force stood at 144,600. The number of persons not actively looking for work and hence excluded from the labor force was about 77,400 persons. Well, the Barbados Revenue Authority is preparing to launch a new property revaluation exercise across the island. It says that the exercise is expected to take 15 months and will end in March next year. As a result, the BRA is advising homeowners to look out for its valuation officers in their neighborhoods. The officers will be assessing properties and taking pictures. The BRA says they will be carrying identification cards which should be shown on request. Well, it was a four-legged surprise in the Bayland St. Michael today as an iguana invaded the house of Hugh Mears. He says he received news via a call this afternoon.
About 2 hours ago, my wife called me at work, told me that iguana in the kitchen, which I started laughing. I thought it was a joke at first, but when she took a picture of it and sent 2 walks to me, then I came home about 10 minutes after, right? And I caught it, put it in a box, and proceeded to do what I had to do the rest of the day, because this wasn't holding me up. With your help, I let find the owner to come for it, but in 24 hours I don't see no owner, a pet shot can see it.
Mr. Mears says the owner can contact him at 239-2991. The creature drew the interest of nearby residents and others who stopped by to take a peek. Trinidadian Rachel Mears says in her country, the iguana may very well have ended up in the pot.
I have never actually cooked it myself, but I have eaten it on more than one occasion. Being a Trinidadian, we eat what is called wild meat, and that falls into the category of wild meat. So if you pressure cook it, get it nice and soft, because obviously the skin on the outside will be tough. But you pressure cook it, you get it nice and soft, you curry stew it in some coconut milk, eat it with some dumplings or some ground provision. It's a traditional meal. Once again, the owner can call 239-2991.
Members of the public are being advised that the Coastal Zone Management Unit, or CZMU, will be performing a series of geotechnical investigations around the island using a drone beginning next week. As a result, unmanned aerial vehicle operations will be performed at select locations across the island from Monday, January 18th until Friday, February 12th. These operations will be conducted between 6 in the morning and 6 in the evening. Areas under consideration include the parish of St. Lucie, Ocean City in Christchurch, Marleyville, Harry Smith, and Fortescue in St. Philip. The investigation will focus on the vertical face of the cliffs along the coastline and is not expected to cause any significant disruption to residences or businesses. Well, as the Barbados Transport Authority service integration project continues to unfold on some of the island's bus routes, one PSV operator as well as some passengers have been giving it a passing grade. Convenience, security, and satisfaction were just a few of the words used to describe the Barbados Transport Authority's service integration project. The project started late last year and has been implemented to explore the possibility of public service and transport board buses coming together to share the same terminals, routes, and schedules as public service vehicles. It is currently being tested on the Sturgis route, and for the most part, passengers seem to be satisfied. When CBC visited the Princess Alice terminal this morning, a few persons were waiting on a PSV scheduled for 11:30 and which arrived just 5 minutes after that. The conductor of that minibus says, aside from a few changes with the schedule, he sees a model which can work.
You know, so you got to space them out because the traffic has got to be whole back, so you know, so it's can't make the times. But it ain't that far out everything, but it will work.
Some of the passengers spoke about how the program was benefiting them.
It is a good idea, right? Because the buses run so bad. Sometimes you have to wait in there 2 and 3 hours. For instance, the Deacons Road bus. So you wait 2 or 3 hours for one of those.
If they could run more buses different places now, that would make everybody get home safe and better. Time's good for me, because by the time they done school, they get down here, staying here waiting for me, they don't know they could get home. No matter what, they get home.
Just yesterday, Minister of Transport and Works Michael Lashley gave an update on the integration, saying changes would continue to be made as the project continues. Well, if you've been feeling a little more chilly than usual at nights in recent days, that's because of a cold front currently affecting Barbados. A check with officials at the Government Met Office at the Grantley Adams International Airport today revealed that the temperature in Barbados dipped to a very low 19.8 degrees last night. Met officials explained that the absence of cloud cover in recent days added to the significant temperature drop, but noted that it should be a little less chilly tonight. And that's because more cloud cover is expected over Barbados tonight, even though that cold front is still in our area. Now, temperatures are expected to be around 22 to 23 degrees Celsius. Still to come, a look at some of the stories making headlines across our region. And remember, you can also follow us on Twitter at CBC_newsroom and, of course, on our Facebook page, CBC News Barbados.
We are builders. We build from foundation to rooftop. We build. Barbados Lumber Company is proud to announce the opening of its new hardware and home improvement center in Church Street, Spikestown. We guarantee the same high-quality service, affordable products, and a free island-wide delivery that have made Barbados Lumber Company a household name. Come shop with us and experience Spikestown's newest treasure. Barbados Lumber Company, building our country, our communities, our home.
Barbados Lumber Company.
Live up. For more information, contact your local council for the disabled or association.
Regional news now. First in Guyana, a bloodbath at Bush Lot, West Coast, Berbice on Saturday after the chopping death of a couple. The bandits only managed to flee with the day's earnings of $4,500. All of them were later caught and gave police ugly details of the murder. Travis Chase reports.
Fort Wellington police are preparing 3 known criminals for court for allegedly brutally chopping to death a Bushlot West Coast Berbice businessman and his reputed wife. Dead are Arthur Dudnoth Rajkumar and his reputed wife Diane Shamalal. Ramich Rajkumar, who is the nephew of the dead man, told Nightly News of the call he got informing him of his uncle's brutal death.
Well, I received a phone call at around 4:30 this morning to tell me that bandits had invaded this property and that Arthur Rajkumar was already dead and that Davy was transported to Fort Welton Hospital to receive treatment. Within half an hour, I received another phone call that she had died at the hospital.
Police Saturday afternoon sought to clear things up as to what really happened at the home. The lawmen said that acting on a report received, they went to the Bushlot home and, as they approached the building, 3 men were seen jumping over a fence at the premises. The police gave chase, but the men managed to escape. When investigators checked the home, which was ransacked, they found the bodies of the couple with multiple chop wounds.
Results of a survey in Guyana show that more than half of the youth there are sexually active, and based on those results, Public Health Minister Dr. George Norton has affirmed that sexual and reproductive education must form part of the curriculum. The survey conducted by the Guyana Responsible Parenthood Association focused on adolescent and youth sexual trends and was carried out in 8 of Guyana's 10 regions. From the survey sample of 392 respondents, the data collected showed that 42% of the respondents were sexually active. Those respondents were between the ages of 16 and 18, while 35% of them were under the age of consent, which is 16 years old. In Port of Spain, National Security Minister Edmund Dillon says there has been no spike in the murder rate since the start of the year. In response to questions from opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissessar on the crime rate, Dillon told Parliament that there have been 17 murders so far this year, compared with 16 for the same period in 2015. He said investigations into the murders in the past 7 days showed that they were drug and gang-related offenses. Dillon said measures adopted to deal with the incidence of such murders include intelligence-led operations targeting known drug dealers and gang leaders. Dillon also disclosed that a draft counter-terrorism strategy drawn up by a committee of the National Security Council back in 2014 was being revised in the wake of last year's Paris attacks. Well, still in Trinidad.